If I am a nature of love, if I'm love, if I'm inherently love, if I am love, should I look for me or should I express me? If I'm wealth, should I look for wealth or should I express wealth? If I'm honor, should I look for honor or should I express honor? And these paradoxes will help us to challenge where we are. Are we expecting life or are we doing life? We challenge your belief, we challenge your perspective, we challenge the truth you hold, we challenge your thinking patterns, we challenge your character, we challenge everything around you. We also invite people to the life of goodness, and it's attainable, it's simple, like you breathe in and out. That's how life can offer, that you can offer life. Goodness inherently will come back to you. It is not mechanical. When I hear people say they suffer, I will not see them from my place of refinement, place of transformation, evolution, and growth and maturity and ascended height of certain knowledge and insight, which by the grace of God you have utilized and engaged. But what I want us to do something today is, there are 4 things or 5 things we're going to check before we dive into our harmony. Life is a realization. Life is a realization. A lot of things that you're suffering externally, within you, if you look within you, if you start looking within you, you realize that they are in. They are not new. You were inherently born with them. So life is a realization. And that's why I say, come hither that I might show you what is to come. You cannot be in the argumentative flow of life or force of life and ascend to a higher degree that you aspire to. You have to leave the elementary place to connect to the higher grade so that you can operate from that higher grade. So it's a realization. The day you realize that you are not what you think you've been thinking that you are, that what you're thinking you are was a construction of your mental world, that you are living from the mind, not from the heart. We have always said, don't live from the mind, because the mind can be a tool of slavery, that it conditions you. Once it conditions you, it creates an attachment. An attachment causes you to cling to things, and you defend, you argue, you complain, and you blame. Those are the product of the mind. But when you live from the heart, that's where you issue life. That's why I say, guard your heart, for out of it are the issues of life. So it means that you issue life from your heart, not from your head. Open, is flexible, is explorative. It is what they call the wanderer, because it has the antenna to higher places, picks up signals from the divinity, transfer it to your soul, and now condition your thinking pattern and perspective that you manifest completely different things. So life is a realization. So when you realize something, recognize it. Recognize it. The moment you recognize the truth, you realize the truth. Like, I realize that attachment is the root of suffering. That no external thing can hurt you. When I realize the truth, I recognize it. Now, recognition means that it's shifting you from what you used to know, what you used to hold on. Now you recognize that that's an illusion. When you recognize, it will lead you to a relationship. We don't have relationship with truth. Basic things, for instance, like count it all but joy. And there's a power in facing day to day the odd with certainty of joy. But they say, how can I be joyful? I've been on this job like it's an dead-end job. Because you hate that job, you've not realized, first, you have not realized that the more you hate your job, in that negative loop, you are creating a negative loop. You will continue to be influenced by the force of life, because the force of life is either negative force of life or positive force of life. So if I'm negative, I hate, what it means that I am sending hatred. So every creative force is coming from the substructure of hate. That's what you've not realized, and you've not recognized how it works. Now, your relationship with it is what you are enjoying. You're enjoying hatred because you relate with your job from the place of aversion, dislike. And these are strong energies. And there are two kinds of energies: destructive energies or creative energy. If you're joyful, you find out that you are lighter and you are connecting to the light of creation. But now, if you're sad, you are in a depressed state. You are now in a deconstructed state. So you are not creating. Think about when you're angry. You're almost destructive unless you control yourself. Have you seen somebody who kicking the car? You come out and kick the car. If he's in a happy state, he will pamper the car. But if he's in a bad state, he will kick the car and call it all kinds of names and name it. And the more you engage words to express to the object, then you have created after that object, because what is funding it is the energy. So what we're saying, begin to realize, recognize, have relationship with where you are. Then in that relationship, how do you relate? Patrick, why are you going with this? Your relationship with stuff will determine how you define it. Will determine how you define it. Let me give instance. Count it all but joy. You say, how can I count it all joy? I've been married for years and I don't have the food of the womb. So you're sad. You're perpetually sad. You're moody. There's no excitement. Good things come to place of joy. I mean, the good book said, with joy will you draw from the wells of salvation. Okay, so do a simple experiment. I told you the life is about experimentation, exploration, expanding, then experiencing before you talk about expression, which is a conduct. So I did a whole lot of almost 360 degrees in how I began to recognize basic truth, realize them, oh, that this is what they are, my relationship change. And how I relate to them. Then where I'm going is the utilization of truth. Not the ascent of truth. Its ability to utilize them on a day-to-day, minute by minute, engaging them. The utilization is where we lack. But because we have not gone through this process where you have to recognize the truth. So when we're talking about harmony, I'm going to dive into it, but let's come. If you are not, when we talk about yes to life, until you realized the truth in harmony, until you recognize the potency, the transformational effect, the evolution, the illumination, how it will escape you from the eclipse of the previous argumentative, hatred, irritation, those restrictive energy, and start utilizing the word. Don't even start holistically. Start from fragmentation of, okay, you know what is that you don't like in your house? What's that part of your life that you don't? What is that when you remember, when you shine a light in that dark part of you, or that causes you pain? Let me tell you the truth. The dark that you have not put light will continue to control you. That part of you that you hate will continue to control everything about you. It has a strong influence in your advancement, in your enlightenment, in your ascension, in your freedom, in your growth, in your maturity. Because the moment you recall, remember that the moment you recall that part, you start regretting, and regret of your decision will continuously make you seek for, when people say they are undeciding, what means that if you check, what is controlling them is the past decision they've made that brought them failure, and that failure not recognizing or realizing that failure is a teacher, is a mentor, is a gift of advancement. I read that thing and I was so blessed. I was so blessed because when you don't recognize failure as a gift, it becomes an oppressor. And that's what happened to our life. Okay. I read something recently. In James, the writer of James said something so well in the message. It's James chapter 1, I think verse 3. Consider it sheer gift. Did you hear that? Sheer gift. So when you have a gift, what do? Are you sad about your gift? I know some people receive a gift and they are sad because of the person who is sending the gift. But inside of them, they also be happy about the gift. But because of the person who sent the gift, or probably what the gift represents. But every gift, every good gift should excite you, right? So we are saying here, until that dark point, that dark part of your life, that thing that caused you sleepless night, until you see it as a gift. He said, friends, when tests and challenges come at you from all sides, you know that under pressure, your faith life is forced into open. Where I'm going today is say yes to those areas that you have regretted before. You didn't do well in school, say yes to it. Yes, I didn't do well. That's harmony. You took a wrong decision. You invested in that business you thought was a life-saving, but now it's almost like a life destroyer. Say yes to it. You give in to fully, and you help this man, belt him. Now he's flying. He abandoned you. Say yes to it. Your resentment is saying no to it. Your rejection is saying no to it. So now, once you say no, you are not co-creating with life force, because the tension means that it pulls you out. You are in a job that you think is a dead-end job. Of course, once you say it's a dead-end job, you are the one who have already pronounced it. So you're going to live after the pronouncement, because it's so powerful. The energy behind your word is so powerful. Is it a share gift? Oh, you took a wrong decision. Now it seems that it's affecting everything in your future. It's still affecting your future because you are struggling with it. You don't fight life. If you fight the river will take you up. If you flow with the river, you realize that you're likely just relaxed. The tension of fighting with the river makes you heavier. But when you relax, in that relaxation, in that place of nothingness, in that place of light, you will see that you can naturally flow with it. That's what we're talking about. Which area of your life, which experience or experiences that when you remember, it drains you, you think, or your thought, or you hope it never happened? I beg of you, can we explore a different route to it? Can we apply a new method? Can we see it from a different way? Can we see it as a gift? And that's what has helped me. I mean, there are decisions I've made that brought shame to me, what we call shame. But when I realized they were part of my refinement, they were gifts that strength, some wisdom, some insight, some power. I mean, like, I could literally start thanking those mistakes, because they had become my friends and I loved them. That's what they call the illusion of control. When you want to fight them, they have happened. They cannot happen again if you love them and free yourself from the entanglement. Say yes to them. How do you mean, Patrick? Let me share a personal experience. I used to share this some. So one day, I have said yes to a particular gentleman, and this gentleman had walked into my office and had a certain need. And in my mind, in my entire being, resting on a divine word, I knew I could help this gentleman. And I have decided that I was going to help that man from a good place. So I helped this man. And that help means that I was going to help him sort him out. Once he settled in, he was supposed to return what I was, lending to him, what I was giving to him. And it was supposed to be like 3 months that he will return it. 3 months, a lot happened. I'm not able to give the full story, but it happens that I wasn't going to get the gifts from him back. And we ended up in court. In fact, he took me to court. That's how we could express it. So we went to court. Eventually, I don't even know how it ended. Anyway, but I was bitter. I was resisting it. I was sad. I was completely disoriented. I was spent those days. It means I regretted my action, my decision. It was eating me up, really, because it was a big favor. What I considered then a big favor. Gracefully one night, I got a divine visitation and asked me a question. Can your good bring your evil? I said no. He said you're focusing on evil, and your evil is transforming you from your good to evil, because you're thinking about regret. You're swearing that you can't do this again to any human being. You're not going to a destructive point that is not you. He said, when you plant a seed, do you use hot water to water it, or do you use cold water? I say, of course, cold water. I say, anger over your good means that you are using hot water to water your seed, because your action, you have never seen it as a seed that have potential in the future to bring you back good. Because if you faint not, you will have a reward of good, because good attract good. But you say, okay, but this is attracting pain. You are the creator of the pain, not what is happening, because you have not seen it that it was a seed. Frankly, from that day, I said yes, and I appreciated. I started celebrating the decision that I can. That's what they call reversal gratitude. Reversal gratitude is where this is considered bad, but in your mental energy, you rewire it, as you can't name it bad because there's no bad in you, and so you can only see through the lens of good. That's why I say come to goodness. Your lens life will change. Your thought life will change, because the sponsor, what now formed your perspective, was formed your thinking pattern, what formed your belief system, what formed your emotion, what formed your action and behavior and expression, will be funded by where you are. And honestly, from that day, it's over how many years? I did not get back to that man. I saw it as a gift of development. That thing has reproduced itself multiple, and I would have been bitter. It would have affected my health. It would have affected my disposition. I would have been such a cankerous person, and the canker would be eating me up. And over that, meanwhile, I was much more, because greater is in me than that which is already outside. So that thing that is outside is a dead end. The moment I say yes, to it, everything changed. Everything changed, and my life never the same. So I'm saying, I don't know who have hurt you before. I don't know what system. I don't know what family that had used you, what we call used. Say yes to the use. Patrick, are you crazy? They hurt me. They didn't hurt your real self. They hurt your ego self. And because it's ego self that defend, that's in a limitation, that is clinging, that's attached, your true self is bigger than any form. That is why I'm giving this background. Until you say yes to your mistakes, your past mistake will continue to rule you. Is there any part of your body that you think you dislike because you don't think like you're like other people? When you look at them, they use it as a tool of dismantling. No man can dismantle you. What you have is a vehicle to carry you. Your true self is using those vehicles we call body. You know how people have pimple or some sort of any deformation in their face? They say, I hate to see this black thing. And that's why that black thing will continue to reoccur. Because the energy of creation, you are far from energy. You have not said yes to the energy of creation. Energy of creation respond to yes, which is in joy. So, the richness of life is so powerful. I read something recently and it makes so much sense to me. The richness of life is in loving our basic nature. And let me tell you, the two basic nature we have in life is 1, love, and 2, goodness. The two basic nature we have is love and goodness. You see, these two natures, when they fund everything you are facing, you reverse them. Wake up every day and say yes to life in love. Wake up every day and say yes to goodness. I literally had desired that every sense of me will be funded by the nature of love or by the nature of goodness. I mean, everything I talk about is about goodness. It influences my relationship and my definition. So when I say yes to you, it's not in weakness. Let me give you a story. A child was admitted in the hostel. And in this hostel, as she was going, the parents say, our culture here is a culture of goodness and a culture of love. You will not allow the external to transform you because you are too powerful energy. Like you are like the sun that cannot be intimidated by any form of darkness. So they drawn this whole thing. So they have lived in this nature of love and they have lived in the nature of goodness. He said, don't interpret anything you see outside this nature. So it means if you go somewhere, follow the order. Don't say that this order is difficult, you are suffering. The moment you use the word suffering, that means you have moved out of your nature of love and goodness. So you are not defining it from the place of weakness, which fear, like you're not capable. Meanwhile, love is enriching, is empowering, is inspiring, is the form of energy that emboldens you and give you access to infinite possibilities and limited possibility. So this child went to the hostel with this mental construct. Now you see, how you are functioning is a function of your mental construct. Now, in that mental construct, what happened is that you begin to have what we call mental forms. And if you are rigidly controlled by experiences or history, you're finished in life. Because most of the time, you're going to now acquire a nature of deficit, a nature of weakness, of helplessness, a nature that it has not power, inherent power, and capability to absorb like that largeness of heart. Because that's what we're saying. When you stream your life from your mind, you are going to be constructed by experiences. What it does is that you begin to identify Oh, I was bad, I was robbed, I was treated bad. When you use such languages, it means that your mental creation has now caused you to identify with your storyline, with your narrative, with happenstance, and with the external material world. There has been inscribed in your mental world so rigidly they control you. That's why I find defense. That's why I find complaint. That's why I find abuses. That's why you find all kinds of negativity. So this child couldn't find any. That's why people have mental projection. It has not happened, but you are projecting based on XYZ. What are you doing? You are giving those references like from occurrence of the past. So you are now mentally projecting. Oh, what if this thing? What if they don't like me? What if they reject me? What if I fail this? What if my marriage failed? What if this job, they sack me? Mental projection is a function of mental construction that have been rigidly constructed by experiences. Then that's where you find mental labels. That's where you find mental narratives. So this guy had gone into the hostel and he was completely in harmony with the causation, whatever thing that was happening in the hostel. Where people will take a shortcut, he would say yes to the long shot. He was never punished. He was always on time in whatever structure that had been placed, had put in place, to ensure excellent performance and effective operations. Now he was almost one in a million, like a lily. So some guys, of course, as usual, people will, if you don't join them, they want to label you, they want to cause you pain, they want to show that you're different from us. What are you proving? So they gang up upon him. As they gang up upon him and tell school authority that this person did this. Funny enough, he looked at what they were doing from the nature of love and good. So they put him, they now sent him in another corner, and there are other consequences. He said, oh, I've been really wondering. You see how? I've been wondering how these people feel. What? He faced it as a gift because he defined it from the nature of love and the nature of goodness. Now, they thought they were punishing him. He was gaining experiences. He was strengthening his resolve. He was being emboldened in his conviction. His good and love nature was how he defined and related. That's the wisdom, the strength, the insight was, he was exploring. He was saying, oh, thank you. I used to think, I was wondering how it feels, what they call the aha moment. That's what they call beginner's mind. That's how great people operate. They don't operate from the place of stagnation or from the place of sameness. They want to explore. But where I'm going, the nature you have is like a tree. A good tree will produce after its kind. A bad tree will produce. A bad tree will see bad in weather. A bad tree will see bad in wing. But a good tree will look at the tree from the wing as an opportunity to utilize it for its glory, its strength, its resilience. So this finished the punishment. He didn't defend. He just said yes to it. He was in harmony with what was that moment. He didn't say, but I'm good. I have done good. I have been a good boy here. Because that's the problem about people who are good. who feel that they are good, especially the quote spiritual. Oh, I have served God for 10 years. So it become a tool of entitlement. So they struggle with it. They resist it. It's not my portion. They forced life. And that guy did not say a word. He didn't defend it. He flowed with it. He was in harmony with it. He said yes to it. Guess what happened? They thought that he was going to complain. Never complained. He just passed it as if nothing has happened. And look at them. Because of course he didn't even know the people who conspired it. That's why don't call conspiracy what they call conspiracy. Don't dread what they dread. Don't fear what they fear. He said, fear me. That means me. I'll become a stone of offense, a rock of defense. Your rock of defense from today is to recognize your true nature is good and love. And when they begin to capitalize your or fund or inspired or influences your decision making, your choices, when they begin to influence your emotion, that is your ground place. That is your what we call centering. So that's your balanced state. That's the equilibrium state. That is your foundation. That's the fundamentals. These are things that people don't even establish. What is my true nature? Your true nature are not possession. No, your true nature produces possession. So people are allowing their possession to define them or to influence them. And so eventually, those people that took that boy, look at him, he didn't revenge, he didn't blame, he didn't curse anybody, came back and apologized. Why? He didn't leave his frequency, he didn't vibrate in their own vibration. He never transformed from a place of good and love and began to quarrel and struggle with them in tension. I've been in those places as well too, where I humbly say yes to it, and I was free. No, most of the time, when we struggle and resent, put us in slavery. Put us in such slavery. That's why we resist, we fight life. I don't fight life any longer. So where am I going with this harmony? I want to center harmony today in challenges. What is the challenge you're going through in life? What challenge are you facing? What obstacle? What barrier? Today, basically, I want to talk about harmony with yourself, your inner harmony. I study a whole lot about the Japanese. How did they get into this top performance in the economy, in development, in technology? Then, of course, if you blend it with spiritual guidance, you realize it's the same thing. Until you let go, letting go is such a powerful key that we have not recognized, and start having relationship with letting go. Let go of pain of the past. Be in harmony with it. It happened. Patrick, oh, but it was so painful, but it is just your memory that is you are controlling what you cannot control. It's outside your control now. So in Japan, there's what they call the Nagomi. It's a place finding inner harmony. And that finding inner harmony is based on 3-level balance. When we talk about balance, it's a place of, if you hear me, you talked about neutral. It's a place of emptiness. It's a place where there's no judgment. It's a place where there's no concept. It's a place where there's no past. It's a place where there's no struggle. It's a place of relaxation. It's a place of the moment. It's a neutral place. Nothing is happening there. It's almost what they call living now, the now moment. Because judgment is the root of suffering. You only judge because you have pre-positioned it. And you are taking a position based on the past. So now your action is now judged based on what has happened. But you see, in the now, you let go of the past. So you connect the moment from a place of freshness. And that's what liberates us. In fact, it's so powerful when you begin to incorporate letting go. When I started letting go, it didn't make sense. Sometimes it looks like you are weak because you can forget. And it started with what I call it's okay. My own started with it's okay. So it's okay gives me neutrality to suspend everything that I think is right. Because when you pursue right, you say, this is my right. You're not in harmony. So inner harmony is balanced state. Once you find balance, I talked about last week strongly about silence, still, smile. Some other people, they just smile. And once they smile, they are getting their balance. How do I connect to my higher self? How can I connect to my light? How can I connect to my inner strength? How can I connect to my inner wisdom? How can I connect my inner intensity? How can I connect to my inner drive? So that balance helps you not to be connected or to be triggered. Not to be triggered. Because at that balance, you're not connecting to your emotion. You're connecting to your core essence. And in your core essence carries your value system. My neutral place in any decision or any confrontation is to find my balance in my values. Like if we're arguing, or probably I have made a promise and I've forgotten that I've made a promise, I just take a deep breath and I connect to my value. Keep your promise. Instantly, everything changes. I don't even know whether it was right or wrong, but because my value system is my core. So balance means my neutral place to connect to intentionally, to deliberately connect to my core self. And when I take a decision, or you take a decision from your core, there's no regret. Even if it doesn't align to an expectation or a desired end, it's not going to be a problem, because we say outcome is a gift. But as long as it connects to your originality, that is it. That's the best. That's balance. And so what it does, it talks about peace. Have these affirmation. I say I prosecute life in love. I execute action in guided goodness. Have you seen how I'm naturalizing this? Now I said I have saturated my inner being with sustaining peace. You see how powerful these are? That is like your mantra. It's like your sword. It's like your cocoon. Is where you run into, and they have a way to instigate, to inspire you, to influence you. to strengthen you, to bolden you. That's you see. So when you come into balance, you see peace. You cannot be at peace when you have contravened or misaligned to your values. It won't give you peace. And that's why you see, oh, I shouldn't have talked like this, shouldn't have taken that decision, because there's no inner harmony or alignment to your core. So that state of balance, that state of peace, what it does, it gives you what they call radical acceptance. Radical acceptance, you know that people wholeheartedly do not accept who they are. You are a slave to any part, any decision that you have taken before that you have not accepted and say yes to and harmonizes with that decision. It will continuously overrule every effort to advance. And until you say yes to it, balance, peace, and acceptance. So this is what we call the blend of life. You see, we don't blend to life. Go think about when you are doing smoothie and you are crushing it. You see, that cycle of frequency, that orbiting, will vibrate at the same flow, at the same rate. Then you see the energy is together. But if something within the component of that, they are not blending, they are in opposition, you won't get what you're looking for. So in our life, we are struggling because we are not blending life with life. It's also about parenting. You know how you parent. You have a constructed idea how the children should turn up. And they are not turning, they are not coming to that standard. And you are irritated. You go to prayer with sadness. You are so afraid about them. You destroy them. And you say, I shouldn't discipline them. Make sure you are disciplining them from your nature of love and goodness. You may not agree exactly with the path they are taking, but you will agree that you are raising them in love and goodness. It gives you excitement. You will know that they will eventually come to that. Our opposition will want things to align to our constructed image. It doesn't happen that way. Have you not noticed that most people pray more when their children are not in alignment? And that means they are connecting to our core essence and to their source, because they make you pray well. Otherwise, you will not pray. And the more you pray, the more you are soft. You no longer start breaking you into compassion, into relaxation, into assurance. Your convictions begin to heighten. Have you noticed why people pray a lot? Why? Otherwise, they won't pray. I mean, really now, every prayer channel sells. It sells. Why? People are realigning to divine order, saying yes to life. So where we're bringing is your internal harmony. Internal harmony will give you calmness, untroubled mind. Brother, sister, it's possible to be untroubled even in this troubled world. And there are just few percentage of people who have been awakened to that pure consciousness, where their attention is focused on the nature of love and goodness, characterized by peace, which is harmony. They say yes. Owe them, thank you. Are they full? They are not full. So when you have calmness, there's a level of contentment. You come. You see, contentment is where creation starts from, because that's the root of creativity. Once you are not calm and content, creativity eludes you because you are disoriented, you are disempowered. So you see, what harmony does is it begins to calm you down to say yes to life. And at that moment, contentment comes in. What does it mean? Godliness and contentment is a great gain. Why is it a great gain? It's a place of flow with life, not a place of fight with life. And once that contentment comes in, you see creativity comes in, because you are a creator and not to be created. Every form of disillusionment, every form of discouragement, you are being created by external triggers or influences that influences you to be like that. So you see, calmness will bring you contentment and creativity. And what it does, you always work with clear mind. And once you hit that clear mind, because it's free from prejudices, even from preferences, and that's why true confidence. And that's why do not lose your confidence, for out of it is a great recompense. So what you cannot be compensated in the other way is a fight. Fight drains. So that's what we're saying. Be harmony. Patrick, but I'm struggling. When I stay with people and they use the word struggle, I almost say, Lord, please help them to say, I'm flowing with this life. You see how easy it is. Your sensitivity, you become more productive and efficient, and your performance. I have this acronym. I think I will close from here. It's called PPP. Purity. Purity is undefiled mind. Purity is not shifting you from your nature of love and peace, not shifting you from your authentic place, where you don't clone yourself because of people. You remain same, which is really what we call integrity. Next time I could talk about integrity, identity integrity, emotional integrity, and mind integrity, which people don't access, but that's not where I want to go. So purity. So when I say I'm pure in my heart, it means I have pure presence. Pure presence means I'm not coming from the past. I'm not excited about, I'm not worried about, or expensive, but there's a pureness in my heart. I'm almost like clear-minded, and that clarity, I am calm, I am contented, I'm creative, I have confidence, and that brings me to that place of pureness where I'm unafraid, unirritated. That's the way you have absolute power of control within, not without. That's purity. Purity mixed with peace. You see, again, harmony. What it does, it produces power. And what power does, it affects your performance in life. It affects your manifestation in life. It affects with everything in your life. Purity, peace. When you get to your house, Why are you afraid in your house? You are contaminated from old historical experience that has mentally constructed you in a particular way. So you are approaching your house with history and experience, and you're not at that moment pure that it has never existed. So you're exploring it and experiencing the newness of it. So that's pureness. Pureness is when you get to your boss, you approach your boss not from the old boss, from a new boss, because you cannot continue to relate with your boss from an impure place. And when that happened, you see that you are at peace. You have now said, yes, I harmonize with your boss as a good man, from the concept of your natural definition, from place of goodness and the place of love, which is your natural estate. That's when I see people who say this thing is killing me, my ministry is killing me, parenting is killing me, my role is killing me, I'm overwhelmed. There's no purity there. And it affects your harmony, which is peace. And honestly, you're powerless, because you're present from a place of weakness, your definition and your relationship and your perception has been polluted. Of course, it affects your performance. So I'm saying, let us experiment this and explore this option. Purity, peace, power, and performance. I'm excited to challenge status quo. I'm excited to redefine standard. I'm excited to invite you to higher life of goodness. If you don't get anything, can you get the fact that your true nature is love and goodness, and the product of it is harmony, because you have so much room to contain and turn out all from good and love. Thank you so much. We're still on our series in harmony in our platform. We're also on radio, connected on the frequency 92.3, and you'll get a version of it. We want to deal with it extensively until we say yes to life. When you say yes to life, the product of it that you have purity, you have peace, you have power, and your performance in all levels will skyrocket. Thank you. We'll always like you to share. Invite your friends. It's getting better. We are too attached to life. We want to empty you so they find true freedom to fly, to ascend. Share, like, comment, give us review, and practice with patience. Stay in goodness. See you next time.